Hi, grade 5. So yesterday we looked at this week's vocabulary words. We have debris, emphasis, encounter, generations, indicated, naturalist, sheer, and spectacular. Now you should know the definitions of these because that was your homework. So today we're going to answer page 21 in your turn practice book. So if you don't have your turn next to you, please pause the video and get your book. Okay, so for this exercise on page 21, the directions are to finish each sentence using the vocabulary word provided. Number 1 is debris. Okay, think about what the word debris means. The storm last night. So we need to complete the sentence. The storm last night blew a lot of debris into our yard. So this is just a sample sentence. You can write your own. Okay, so the storm last night blew a lot of debris into our yard. Number 2 is emphasis. The park ranger repeated, and we need to complete this with a word, the word emphasis. Okay, the park ranger repeated for emphasis the warning about staying on the trail. All right. Number 3 is encounter. Encounter. Now, there's not one correct answer, guys, for this, but these are just sample sentences. Okay, number 3, encounter. Think about what the word encounter means. We said encounter is an unexpected meeting. So the park ranger while walking in the woods, we want to add the word encounter. While walking in the woods, we had an encounter with a wild animal. We had an encounter with a bear. Okay? Number 4, generations. Remember, I told you a boy, his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, these are 4 generations. Okay, so our family has enjoyed camping trips for generations. Number 5, indicated. Indicated. I told you that a synonym for the word indicated is showed. Okay, so we could say the frost on the leaves indicated that it had been cold the night before. Next is naturalist. Naturalist. We brought the strange plant to a naturalist to learn about what we had found. Okay, what is a naturalist? A naturalist is someone who studies nature, but especially plants or animals. Okay, so we brought the strange plant to a naturalist to learn about what we had found. Number 7 is sheer. Sheer. Remember I told you synonym for sheer is steep. Our guide led us away from the sheer edge of the cliff. Okay, and finally number 8, spectacular. Spectacular. The 4th of July fireworks were spectacular this year. Okay, so these are just some ways to use our vocabulary words in sentences. Okay, next we are going to read A Life in the Woods. Okay, this is what we did in class today. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read it for you guys. Henry David Thoreau raised his pen to write, but the chatter of guests in the next room filled his ears. He stared at the page. Concord, 1841 was all that he had written. How would he write a book with such noise in his family's house? Thoreau headed outside, shutting the door with emphasis. He would have to find a place of his own. Thoreau walked out of town. Tall white pines soon replaced the painted houses. He listened to the rustling of the leaves. What if I could stay here, he thought. He could live off the land close to nature and begin his book. It would take work, but he could do it. Years passed, but Thoreau still did not have a place in the woods. One day, his friend Ralph Waldo Emerson had an idea. Emerson was a well-known writer who had bought some land near Walden Pond. Because he and Thoreau shared the same interest in nature, Emerson decided to let him use part of his land. In March of 1845, Thoreau began to build a cabin. By July, it was ready. He could live and write in the woods. Okay, so this is an example of narrative nonfiction. Okay, think about the features that we discussed yesterday as we read the next 2 pages. Okay, it's about how this man's stay in the woods changed his view of nature. Okay, so here we have different headings. This is also a feature of narrative nonfiction. So this heading is Cabin Life. Thoreau's move to the woods indicated that he liked to be alone. But Thoreau did not feel that way. I have a great deal of company in my house, he wrote. Red squirrels woke him by running up and down the sheer sides of his cabin. A snowshoe hare lived in the debris under his cabin, thumping against the floorboards. A sparrow once perched on his shoulder. Thoreau recorded these experiences in his journal. How easily writing came to him with the beauty of nature around him. Another heading on Walden Pond. Thoreau was a naturalist. He noticed the habits of animals. Each encounter showed him something new. One afternoon, Thoreau tried to get a close look at a loon, but the bird quickly dove into the pond. He knew loons could travel long distances underwater, so he guessed where it would come up. But every time Thoreau paddled to one spot, the loon came up somewhere else and let out a call, a howling laugh. What a silly loon, Thoreau thought. But after a while, Thoreau felt as though the bird was laughing at him because he could still not catch up to it. Thoreau wrote in his journal, his white breast, the stillness of the air, and the smoothness of the water were all against him. At length he uttered one of those prolonged howls, as if calling on the god of the loons to aid him, and immediately there came a wind from the east and rippled the surface, and filled the whole air with misty rain, and I was impressed. Okay, so we see on this page Walden. This is the book that he published in 1854. On the next page, we see the loons. Okay, at the top, we see a photograph of the loon and a caption. Loons are still a common sight on Walden Pond. The spectacular scene made Thoreau wonder at the loon. It no longer seemed a silly animal, but one with some mysterious power. As months went by, Thoreau also became aware of each animal's ability to stay alive. His power of observation seemed to indicate additional senses, Emerson once remarked. In winter, as he warmed his cabin by fire, he watched in awe as the moles warmed their nests by their own body heat. He understood forest life as never before. And the last heading, back to Concord. Like the geese that moved to new ponds at the season's end, so too did Thoreau leave Walden. He had done what he had set out to do. What did he set out to do? He wanted to write his book, right? Okay, and had learned much from the woods around him. He packed his few belongings and his stack of journals and returned to Concord. Now he would turn his journal entries into a book. Generations to come would know life on Walden Pond. All right. So this is the story of how Thoreau moved to the woods to write his book. He learned, he saw nature in a different way. Okay, this is all, so he is a real person, okay? Ralph Waldo Emerson is also a real person, so these are all real people and events, and they are told in story form. So we take these facts and information and we create a narrative out of it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is page 26 in your turn practice workbook. You should still have it open. Okay, so page 26. We're going to read a paragraph together. It's called A New Agency. Okay. During the 1960s, people grew concerned about the environment. This concern led to a huge Earth Day celebration in April of 1970. Politicians promised to find ways to improve water, land, and air quality. President Richard Nixon agreed to meet this new challenge. He proposed creating a new government department in late 1970. It was called the Environmental Protection Agency. Nixon said he hoped the EPA would ensure the protection, development, and enhancement of the total environment. Okay, so it says here the EPA proposed laws that reduced air pollution from car engines. All right, so now let's answer the questions. How do we know sorry guys, how do we know that this is narrative nonfiction? Think about the features. Okay, so this is only one response, okay? You can think of other things, but one is that it tells us about real people. It tells about real people. And the author provides data sorry guys, and the author provides data. It also dates. It provides dates. Okay, that's what is the main thing, to show the sequence of events. All right, number 2. Explain the cause and effect relationship between Earth Day and the creation of the EPA. All right, so Earth Day showed that many people want to improve the environment. So President Nixon proposed creating what? The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. Okay, number 3. What facts about President Richard Nixon does the text give? All right, we know that he agreed to meet the challenge, right? Agreed to meet the new challenge. What else? He proposed creating a government department. Okay, a new government department that was dedicated to environment protection. And number 4, what primary source can we identify in the text? Remember what we said in a primary source is, all right, primary sources, and we have secondary sources. So the primary source here is that it is directly quoted from the president. Okay, so President Nixon is directly quoted in the last sentence. All right, so this is how we know that this is factual. It came directly from the president. Okay, the last thing we did is we, you know that we finished Unit 1, sentences, and we moved on to nouns. So we're on language art. Today we introduced nouns, okay? And we completed page 18 in your language arts practice workbook. All right, let's just do these quickly together. Very simple exercise. Okay, so in each sentence, you should underline the nouns and draw a line from each noun to the word that tells what the noun named. Okay, so a tornado went through a large farm. We have the word, what's the noun here? We have tornado. Tornado is, sorry, tornado is what? Tornado is a thing, right? Went through a large farm. We have also farm is a place. Okay, so I'm writing in parentheses, but you can draw a line. The windstorm did not damage the house. We have windstorm. Windstorm is, again, a thing. 1 second, guys. All right, windstorm is a thing, and we have house, place. Okay, number 3. Several relatives came from out of town. All right, what do we have as a noun in this sentence? we have the noun relatives. All right, this is what 3 relative considered person. What else do we have? And town. Town is a place. Number 4, neighbors help put up a new fence. Neighbors, person. And we have fence. This is a thing. Okay, number 5. The family expressed their gratitude over and over again. There we have family. And we have gratitude. Now, gratitude is not a person, place, or a thing. It is an idea, okay? So anything that we cannot see, all right, usually something that can be felt, is an idea. So in grade 4, I believe you were only introduced to person, place, and thing. But in grade 5, we now know that we also have other types of nouns, ideas, okay? So gratitude is an idea. Beauty is an idea, something that is not tangible, cannot be seen, all right? Okay, now number 6, we're going to fill in the blank with the correct nouns. All right, number 6, severe weather causes great harm. All right, so you be sure to fill in the blanks. Number 7, many people work together to help those in trouble. Number 8, a hurricane may flood a region. Number 9, rescue workers go out in boats. 10, town officials set up shelters. All right, so that is today's lesson. Okay. If you have, if you'd like to do more practice, you have exercises in your language arts textbook. Okay, and that's it for today. You have grammar homework. A sheet was uploaded on Smart Schools. And that's it, guys. Take care. Bye.